wrong with y'all? Y'all niggas ready to sleep?
No.
It's 5 o'clock.
She said
I don't want to sleep. I woke back up and y'all niggas are still up. Like, y'all crazy. So when y'all gonna sleep? That's what I want to know. Took part in the major giveaway that we did the other day. I see a lot of my audience tapping in with me real quick, talking about what you're doing up. So Nehemiah Davis and I, we were just both, I'm wide awake at 4 a.m. as usual, and we decided to shoot a podcast. So for everybody that's tapping in right now, good morning. Doing a live podcast with Nehemiah Davis. If you guys haven't already tapped in with him, he was on the $11,000+ giveaway with me the other night on Christmas Day, well, late Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. And we wanted to, really just kind of give you guys some inspiration and some things that we were just kind of looking for as far as planning towards 2020. So I hope you guys enjoy some of this. We were hoping that we could get you guys on a mixed live, but the feedback would be too much. But I really want to say I appreciate everybody that tapped in and really, I think Nehemiah and I both have, like in the last couple of days, have had a ton of brand new support coming in from a bunch of people. We know a lot of people need resources to be able to make more money and be able to empower themselves in 2020. So thinking of ways that we can be able to bring you guys some more value. And so you guys get to watch me record this podcast. Good morning to everybody that's wide awake at 5 a.m. This is Eastern time. If you're on the West Coast, you're probably just leaving the club, and it's all good too. You ready over there, bro?
I'm ready to get it, bro. Excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this one. So I'm doing an interview with my man, once again, Nehemiah Davis out of Philly. And it's dope because that's hometown for me. So I originally grew up on Marshall Street right there in North Philly. Been down south since like 96. So I still try to claim Philly, but I'm like, really, I'm North Carolina now. But Philly put like that dog in me that I think like really helped me like really get towards some of the success I've been able to have in my future. So, brother, first off, I appreciate you taking this time at 5 a.m. to jump on a podcast with me. You got to be insane or like an extreme workaholic to be up this early. So I appreciate you jumping in, tapping in with me this morning.
Bro, I'm just happy to be here, bro. Like, I know when I link up with powerful brothers like you, I know the impact that we can make in people's lives. So anytime I got an opportunity just to get on and share a little bit of game that I know, I'm like, yo, I got to do it, man. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to get to it.
I like this. You're brand new to my podcast, and typically, when I first started doing my podcast, it was going to be strictly like kind of like a real estate like closer type. Like we want to talk about that, but I decided that there's so many different elements into sales. There's so many different elements into like entrepreneurship. I was like, man, I'm more than just like real estate. So I wanted to really open up this podcast and bring in different entrepreneurs, guys that are like really impactful in the community, doing things that can be inspirational. And man, like I couldn't be more thankful to have you join me today, just to break game and share with your knowledge and your skill set. One thing that, most people don't realize is how we met. We actually met in a power group, which Spectacular put together a mastermind power group where I got in this group, guys, and there's so many phenomenal, African-American men and women who are doing things that are just next level. And I think one of the things that I think a lot of us have to do moving forward going into 2020 is the proper alignment, making sure that you put yourself in positions to be successful. And just a few minutes ago, we were talking about, hey, let's make sure we can mastermind with some of these other guys that we just did the giveaway with. Like we want to always stay sharp. They say iron sharpens iron. So like I think everybody needs to understand your circle is going to always be how you become more powerful, more impactful. So what's your thoughts, Nehemiah, on just overall like masterminding and things of that nature?
I'm be honest, bro. I don't think you really. I don't think You could have said it any better. Like the key to my latest success over these last several years has been the relationships I've been building with people. Like I was mentioning, Tony. Tony gave me one strategy. Like it was literally our first phone conversation, right? I'm like, yo, bro, we actually got to link up. I know we got this group, but let's actually get on the call. Me and him start talking. He told me to do one thing. I implemented it, and I want to say I made an extra $50,000 that I wouldn't have made. You know what I mean? Because I listened. So the power of networking. I just came off of a 2-week trip. We were in Australia, Bali, Thailand. Tony, you definitely got to come to the next one. But we were all across the world with like 20 different people. And the amount of millions that's going to be generated amongst them, the friendships that's going to be built. So I understand the importance of networking and getting around like-minded people. The problem that most people have is you're generally around the people you grew up with. Sometimes it's your mom, your grandma, your dad. Their level of growth is sometimes capped, right? So when you're not around these other like-minded people, it's going to be very hard for you to get to the next level. This is why I make sure I'm talking to the Tonys, the closers. This is why I'm talking to all my different friends, because I make it a business to, one, be around people who are sharper than me and smarter than me, or a few levels above me, because when you're in that environment, it forces you to level up. And I also want to feel uncomfortable when I'm having certain conversations. If every conversation you have every day is just on comfort about where you are, like you got to be talking to people who are doing better than you, doing different things, because it's going to want to push you to get to that next level. But the only way to do that is you have to invest in your network. You got to be willing to serve other people. You got to be willing to add value, and you just got to be willing to learn. Like, so I think, Tony, this is the fastest growth hack in the world, masterminding and getting around people who are sharper than you and smarter than you. I don't think there's a better way.
You know, Neo, one thing that I love that you said is I actually just I took the mic open so my audience can hear the conversation. The implementation portion, right? So Neo just mentioned that we talked about a strategy that I shared with him that was working for me, and he implemented the strategy and made $50,000+, and that was in a conversation like less than 2 weeks ago. So I think one of the things that like you got to understand is like when you get in a circle of people who are doing things that are similar to you or even having success, you can kind of pick one idea or whatever that can increase, bottom line revenue in your business is something that you always got to, take heed to. But one thing that's important is, and you did it, you implemented.
That's the key.
So many people, bro, I give out so much game on a consistent basis, and people are like, yo, man, like I can't hit the level of success I feel like I deserve or I want or whatever, but they don't implement. They literally, they hear something and they're like, okay, well, maybe that works for Tony or Neo, but how do I get that to be something that's beneficial to me? And it's literally the implementation portion that people really fall short on.
Bro, and it's funny, we always say this, look, information changes situations only with implementation, right? And another thing we always tell people, listen to me, if there's generally no transaction, there will be no transformation. A lot of those people you're talking to, a lot of people you're communicating with, they're looking at, like, we come on live and we spit game that people almost should pay to get, right? And I'm keeping it one, this not in arrogance. This is just, when I go on Instagram Live, I come on here and I give my all. I'm acting as if I'm getting paid top dollar and I'm giving cutting edge things that literally work for me, things that work for you. But because people aren't paying for it, they feel as though, let me not take it as serious. Mm-hmm. So number one key, Tony, I tell people all the time, most people may don't know me on this particular platform, but dad been in jail since I was 2, kicked out of high school, kicked out of college, fired from 10 jobs. There's nothing remotely special about me other than my ability to execute, and I execute quick. So when Tony said it, I'm like, oh, he said it works. If a successful man says something works, why would I delay in taking action? That don't even make sense. If someone of success and certain stature says, do this, do this, do this, why would I go do the opposite? So I just think it's important, if you're looking here, 2020, it has to be about execution. Every single day, you should be focusing on 1 to 2 things that you're executing on. And once you start executing, it makes you want to get more. It builds some sort of hunger and momentum in you that make you say, yo, I got to get more. I got to get more. I got to get more. So please, y'all, the key is execution.
All right. So you just hit on something that like is very important. I kind of slipped on this. Who is Nehemiah Davis?
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. So for me,
I got you up here. My people need to know, like, hey man, I got this guy up here. He's out here giving away money with me. Like, who the heck is Nehemiah Davis, man?
it's funny. So I've been a full-time entrepreneur the last 13 years, and I tell most people why. That's after I got fired from 10 jobs, kicked out of high school, kicked out of college. I made up in my mind, Tony, and this is my number one claim to success. And it's one simple statement. It has to work where it has to work. This is my living. This is all I know. It has to work where it has to work. After I got fired from all these jobs, I said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And I started a fruit truck. Again, I didn't make no money doing that. Then I started Junkie Move. Then I started a cleaning company. And all I knew was, I'm going to make entrepreneurship work where I'm going to die. So the problem that most people have, Tony, they say, I'm going to go pursue this, but if it don't work, bam. So for example, I'm about to be an actor, guys. I'm going to move to LA, but if it don't work, the moment that you say, but if it don't work, you're telling your universe and you're telling your subconscious that you don't 100% believe in your own abilities to be successful.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Right. I told myself that 13 years ago, and I haven't stopped in the last 13 years. I've tried this, I tried this, I tried this, I tried this. And as you and I both know, what successful people do, we look at failure as testing. So I've been testing, figuring it out for the last 13 years. So now I run several different event spaces. I was able to retire. My mom got her a vitamin store. We got a virtual assistant company. We got a credit company. We got a business solution company. We literally got like 7 different things going on that a lot of people have no clue about. And I just been at it, bro, for the last 13 years, and I haven't stopped. And one of the things that also got me a little bit of influence was, and I want people to write it down if you're listening, serve your way to success. I make sure I put the needs of others before myself. So when I first got started,
hold on. Repeat that one more time.
Serve your way to success. Like a lot of people don't know, bro, I got into so many rooms. I made so many connections because of my ability to serve. Most people are only in it for them. What can I get out of this deal? How will this benefit me? How will I win? How will this make me more money? And my goal with everything I do, how can I add value? How can I be a resource? How can I see that you become successful, right? So a lot of my mentors, a lot of the things I have right now is a result of me serving. Like I had the opportunity to get an award from the president at the White House. How did I get in the White House? How did I take my mom there for a dinner with the Obamas? I served somebody who I didn't even know who worked there, and she pulled me in. How did I propose to my fiance on Steve Harvey's show, and they paid for everything? I served my way. Someone said, I've been seeing you get back to the community for years. You never know who got the ability to bless you. Hey, I'm going to get you on that show. How is E.T. my mentor, a motivational speaker that everyone in the world loves? I served. I went to every conference, adding value. So everything that I've done, how did I build one of my first membership companies? Serve. Like everybody, hey, let me get a part of this for free. And then on the back end, hey, if you like it, just stay and pay. So serving your way to success is another fast track that no one would never want to do because it's not about you. So the problem with most people is they ain't going to even apply that serve your way to success because it doesn't include me being, how will it benefit me first?
Well, I'll tell anybody that's listening to me speak right now, the only reason you know who I am is because I serve my way to success. Yep. I've tried it multiple ways throughout my life. I've done sports, everything else. The one thing I can tell you that I can vouch for is anytime I've helped other people become successful, they push me higher. So many people make the me first. Like they want, hey, it's my turn. Like it's like I deserve this. I've been waiting my whole life. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of not having the life I want to live. I'm tired of like all these different things. But once you realize that you put people first, like everything else will follow, like everything changed. For me personally, I decided in January that I was going to help. I said, I'm going to help 500 people make money wholesaling real estate. Little did I know that saying I wanted to help 500 people make money in real estate was going to turn into an absolute zoo. And, growing from like this year under 8,000 followers. So I'm approaching 50,000 followers to close out the year, having an event that had almost 1,500 people, 1,477 people at my very first live event. All that stuff came possible because I was willing to say, hey, you know what? I'll help you become successful, even if it means I give you my information, my knowledge, my skill set, everything for free. I'm going to serve you in order to help you become successful. And then in turn, I can win on the back end.
Crazy. But the problem, Tone, is this, bro. That's too short-sighted. People want it right now. We want instant gratification. They'll look at you, yo, how you become a successful entrepreneur so fast? They don't know all the years and all the work you've been putting in on your mentality and on your relationships. Neo, how did you start doing this? Yo, I've been 13 years. I didn't just start. I've been at this crap for 13 years. My mind is ironclad and there's only no success. My mind don't even accept anything negative. I don't know nothing else, right? So I think a lot of people also got to just understand, like, yo, your time is going to come, but you got to work every day. You can't take off. And so many people, they get in the process of getting some success and start chilling.
Let me ask you a question, though, because we got to talk about, I want to talk a little bit about mentality.
Yeah.
I think mentality is like everything. And dude, you're better than me because your mentality is like vicious. You told me you were fired from 13 plus jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like, first off, it takes like some type of miracle to get fired that many times. Like, so you got to be a special character in the first place. I mean, because golly, bro, like 13 times of getting fired, that's a lot.
10. That same thing.
Yeah, 10, 13 is a lot. What gave you the mindset to know like you could still be successful after like what most people would seem like is a lot of failure, a lot of roadblocks, a lot of adversity, I can imagine, in that many different jobs.
Well, for me, so, the problem with a lot of us is we often, and I tell people, write this down, guys, never listen to they, right? And after I did get fired all of them times, bro, I kept hearing, you're going to be your father's cellmate. You will never amount to anything. You will never become anything. And those things started to play in my mind, but I always remember never listen to they. So my last job, I believe this is my favorite quote, Tom. Once your mind is expanded to a new concept or idea, it's hard to go back to its original way of thinking. So very quick, let me backtrack very quickly. In 9th grade, my mom sent me to a school where it was only 50 African Americans out of 1,000. From that moment, my life started to change because I started to actually see there was more than a hood, more than drug dealer, more than cars and sneakers. All I knew that success was that at that moment. So I saw these 15 and 16-year-old kids driving BMWs, Benzes, their fathers owning hospitals, all car dealerships. I'm spending the night at their cribs. They got pool houses, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, horses all on the property, right? And then when I got my last job, which was Atlantic Aviation, this was the private airfield. I've been on Donald Trump's plane, 230-passenger plane converted down to a house. I've seen Jay-Z get off the plane, Bill Gates plane. I've been on seeing Oprah come in, TD Jakes. All of these people who I know literally came from nothing amounted to something. So my mentality came from, if those people who said they came from nothing, I'm driving them around hearing their story, they said they came from nothing. I just believed in my mind I could do it. So when I got fired, still to this day, I keep in my mind that, all those people came from where I came from and they made it. So that fixated in my mind, and Nehemiah, if they can do it, you could do it. Because I truly believe this. I don't believe God, if God does for one man, God will do for another. Everything that a God is doing for Tony the Closer, for Nehemiah, we not special. If you get up every day, put work in, you'll get the same exact result. So that really built my mentality of seeing someone else do it. I think the key for most of our success, meaning for people coming behind us, they actually need to see someone who actually did it. So when you see somebody, oh crap, Tony the Closer made all this money wholesaling cribs, it's a pure example of, oh crap, I literally can go do this. Nehemiah helped 100 people get event spaces. He owned multiple event spaces. Oh crap, I can actually do this. So I just think the mentality comes when it is mixed with a little bit of exposure and you just got to realize that your goals and dreams is worth it and you're willing to die for them. When you get that dog and you like that, it's going to be hard for you not to get it.
You know what's crazy is what you just said is something like that was very impactful. Remember in 1954, Roger Bannister, he ran the first 4-minute mile, right? So he runs that 4-minute mile and nobody thought that was possible. Nobody thought you could run a 4-minute mile. Since he's run that 4-minute mile back in 54, there's been over 50 to 60,000 plus people that have ran that mile under 4 minutes, even high school students. And I think that literally comes from what was the barrier, right? For, we get these barriers in our mind that we think things are like really unobtainable and we can't get there. And then you see somebody else that's successful. I'm like, yo, like even for me, like I seen people around me that I knew were being successful. I was like, if he can do that shit, there's no way I can't do that. Like it just became a mentality. But I think one of the things is that in society, we kind of get conditioned to like be under our corporate umbrellas and things of that nature where it's the safety net. I would rather go clock into a 9 to 5 versus, the uncertainty of, yo, I got to go and produce to make sure I can put, food on my table and keep the lights and the power on. And one thing I noticed from this giveaway that I did, and you guys joined in with me, was every single person that I heard talk, like most of these people had jobs, like they had jobs, but most jobs are underpaying. You hear people talk all the time about just over broke, but the reality is that most people who work 9 to 5s, 1 or 2 paychecks that go wrong, you could be potentially in a homeless situation, and that's a very frightening thing. So if you're going into 2020 and you're still, working your 9 to 5, which is, there's nothing wrong with working your 9 to 5, but I would tell people, like, you need to be starting to position yourself to have an exit plan. I'm not saying that, hey, in 2020, walk in and say, fuck it, I quit, because you still got, I'm not paying your bills. I done paid enough bills for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm done with that. But I think there has to be a mindset. How do I start positioning myself to make sure going forward, I don't have to be at risk of somebody walking in one day and feeling like, hey, you know what? I've had enough of Tony for this shit. Like, Tony's got to get out of here. We can't, he's not part of like what our vision and our plans are anymore. And I know so many people who bust their ass. They've worked for companies for years. They sacrifice it all. And even when they retire, my stepdad, for example, he retired, and right now he's not making enough money to be able to do the things and live the life that he wants to live. Is like very minimal. So I think like one thing that we have to do is start positioning ourselves for like our future, like our kids, our legacy. I think it's enough of the mentality of thinking that you gotta go clock in for somebody. I think 2020 is a year of the entrepreneur, like at its finest. I've seen so many people make that transition from, okay, we've been consumers and we've been, working for people, and you see, like, man, you were at Thrive. I didn't even know you were there. But you got to think about it. How many people are now positioning themselves to go into entrepreneur events in places where you can now get the game and expose yourself to so much more? It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny you said, right, Tom, because it's like, more of the story, like right now, is it hasn't been a better time than now to become an entrepreneur. And what I'm so happy about, here's the thing, Tony, wholesaling been around well over 100 years. Space has been around well over 100 years. Trucking has been around well over 100 years. I finally feel as though our society is becoming aware that it is possible for us to make these things happen. So I'm just excited that now, like you saying, 2020, the year of entrepreneur, is like we're getting aware now. We're realizing like, yo, being fresh and not having nothing else isn't the move no more. We're realizing that just working the same old, here's the 40-40-40 plan. So find a good job, work the good job for the next 40 years, work 40 hours a week, and then retire on 40% of the income. That's no way to live. And the problem is, guys, we can't even retire on 100% of the income because we was never educated on finances. We already wreck all our stuff, so we can't do it. So I tell people all the time, listen, if you are only working a job, and I'm sorry to say this, but if that's your only source of income, is not a luxury, it's a liability. Because tomorrow, if you go in there and they really tell you it is a wrap, like Tony just said, and just say, what if you go on your job tomorrow? Like, I want you to really ask yourself the serious question. If you go to work tomorrow, you go in there and they say, I'm sorry, no notice. We got to end your job. It's no more. And we're bankrupt, so we can't even give you unemployment. I want you to ask yourself, literally, what would you do right now? So you are.
They're going to send me and you a DM. hey, help me, please.
Right. So it's a liability, Tone. Like I tell people, if you are working your job and you're not making your money work for you as well, you're doing a massive disservice to yourself. So if you're listening to this right now, this ain't no judging game, no blame. And if you know, like, yo, I only have a job. I'm getting paid, but I'm not making that money make me any more money. Now it's time to start thinking, yo, what can I do to change this? Because it's up to you. Like anything can happen tomorrow.
And I think, so here's a crazy story about, I was in the auto industry, and 2012, this is the last time I actually worked for anybody. 2012, it feels good to say that we're about to go into 2020. So one thing I like to tell people is that I don't care if Bill Gates or whoever called me and tried to offer me an opportunity for employment. I'm unemployable. Like, just can't do it.
Unemployable.
Mentally unemployable. You can't offer me enough money to have me come work for you. One thing that I remember happening, right? So I'm working for a company, Hendrick Automotive Group, and they moved me to Alabama to a store that was an underperforming Buick store. I was begging and pleading to get an opportunity to run my own store. They give me an opportunity to run the store, and of course, what they do, they take me to Birmingham, Alabama, to the store that was like literally dead. It was selling like 6 cars a month. When you beg for an opportunity, they give you an opportunity, and it's like a piece of shit. That's what I got. I was like, here. They're like, here's your piece of shit. Like, let's see what you do with it. Well, what I did with it was I turned that to the #1 Buick store in the southeastern region, and I blew up this company, and I had it rocking and rolling. And I look at my paycheck, and my paycheck wasn't reflective of the amount of work and the things that I had helped that company achieve. Wow. And it was something that, like, I tell people, like, you're gonna do one or two things. You're gonna continue to let a paycheck disrespect you, because my paycheck had disrespected me, or you make the decision and say, hey, this is the final time I'll let anybody disrespect my worth and my value, and I'm going to start doing something for myself. Well, what I did was I went and I started my own company in the opened my own auto lot, and it failed. And the cool part about that is that I got the experience, right? I knew things that I did well, I knew things I didn't do right. But the one thing that felt extremely gratifying to me was that I took the steps towards what I said I want my future to look like. And I say this all the time. I tell people all the time, like, you don't have to be perfect, but you want to be taking steps moving forward towards what you want your future to look like. You can't have a fear mentality of, oh man, this may or may not work. To me, it's not if it's going to work, if it's going to fail. It's like, yo, this is going to get me closer to the steps of what I want my life to be like. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a very important thing that people have to understand is you can't predict the future. You can't say, hey, this business idea is going to be the one that we all wish we knew, like, and had a crystal ball that would tell us, okay, you know what, Nehemiah, Tony, this is the one that's going to be the one. This is going to be the $100 million idea. We like to think that we do, but sometimes it won't work that way. But if you're taking steps intentionally towards your end goal, and then nothing else matters after that. And it made me feel so good because now I can literally say, okay, I've now got 8 years out of being where anybody's ever been able to hire or employ me, right? So in those 8 years, I've had a lot of ups and downs, but finally, like, what people are seeing now is the success that's happening, right? It took me 8 years before I had the success that I felt like I should be getting. 8 years. What people see now is Tony the Closer. They see events. They see Nehemiah. They see all the followers. They see all the good stuff. They didn't see all the times you got fired. They didn't see all the failed business ventures. They didn't see all the headache, all the long nights, like waking up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, putting in the grind. Yo, like, people only see part of it. But all I'll tell to anybody that's listening to this is every single day that you wake up, take steps towards what you want your future to look like. And if you can do that every single day, you will change your life. It's simple.
Yeah. And that's it. And it ain't even though, bro, people be thinking there's some mystical thing, Tone. Like, yo, what is the secret hack? Neo, tell me, like, what's the secret? Like, what do y'all talk about behind the closed doors? Like, what happens when the podcast is over? We talk about the same stuff. It got to work or it got to work. Put in the work every day. Listen to me. Write this down. If you put the work in, it's going to work out. That's it. Like, people are trying to figure out how do you make it work. You got to work it every single day and don't take off. And here's the other thing. All 2020, I want you to write this down. No scoreboard watching. You just got to keep putting up shots. We putting up shots every day, and some of them going to make it. Some of them.
Say that again, bro. Hold on. All 2020 what?
All 2020 is no scoreboard watching, bro. You shouldn't even be thinking about, Tony, I don't even think about what I did yesterday. I don't care what we did Black Friday, Cyber. It is over with. I don't care the awards I got. I've been to 55 countries. When's the next one? How much money you made? Not enough. How many travel countries you went to? Not enough. How many wholesale deals you did? Not enough. And this is the mentality you need to be a closer, right? This is the mentality you need to be that next level person, right? And a lot of people, we want next level, man. So you and I, like, we hit our goals and we still hard on ourselves. Like, we didn't accomplish crap. And that's the mentality you need. And what got me that mentality, Tony, I'm going to tell you this. So I hit up my mentor one day, Caucasian man. Mind you, you know, I didn't really have no mentors like that till I was like 20-something, 25. So I hit him up like, yo, I'm doing my thing, man. I just made this happen. I just made this happen. I just made this happen. And his exact words was like, yo, that's what you're supposed to be doing. I'm like, what you mean? I'm African-American. I'm supposed to be dead in jail. I'm supposed to be gangbanging. And for him, his kid already raised $1 million in his company. He was a lawyer. All his kids doing great. So he told me that, and it messed me up for my life. He said, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So now I don't celebrate nothing no more. If I make some money, if I get a deal done, if something happens, it's celebrate maybe for a few minutes, and I'm right back to it. And if you keep that mentality, it keeps you hungry for more. And I always think about becoming better because there's always someone out here doing better than me. So that's the attitude I think you need 2020 to really level up.
And something that I take from the whole scoreboard watching is that, you know, for one, like, there's a lot of ghosts out here, man. And what I mean by that is that people chase ghosts all the time. Social media, there's a lot of people that say they're doing things and everything else that, like, people start trying to chase what somebody's doing instead of, like, really staying in their own lane. Like, I'm like a horse with blinders on. Until you get literally in my track, I don't see you because I'm not concerned about Nehemiah's success. I'm not concerned about this person over here or that person over there's success. I'm literally focused surely on my success. And what that means is for me personally, is to literally hold myself accountable to a level of no matter what somebody else is doing, I have to take the steps towards what I want, what I need for my life and my future. In my Facebook group, one thing that I see a lot of is somebody posts a check when they get that wholesale deal, right? 97 comments. Where'd you get the lead from? How'd you do it? Like, you know, everybody's like looking for like this secret sauce. Like, what list was it? Like, did you send them a text or how did you get in contact with them? And the reality is everybody's always looking like for like the finished product and how somebody did it. Like, everybody wants to know, hey, like sometimes it's like literally not paying attention to what anybody else is doing, being concrete and focused on, hey, okay, I got to take my intentional steps towards where I need to go. I know this stuff works. I know it's working for other people, but I got to stop focusing on what other people are doing and start focusing on what I am and what I'm not doing. Because so many people get caught up in watching what somebody else is doing that they don't do shit. Oh, well, Tony knows exactly what to say to the seller, so I got to wait till I can talk like Tony. Or Nehemiah has all this information, so I got to wait till I have as much information as Nehemiah has before I take action. Yo, you know why I was at Thrive? Take a guess why I was at Thrive.
Because you said Detroit said come through, Bruce?
Chris Bruce had told me to come to Thrive. That was one reason, but that wasn't my main reason for going to Thrive. I was planning on running my first fucking event in my life.
Wow. So you going to go see how it works?
I went to every fucking event that I could possibly go to in 2020.
Wow. 2019. Yeah.
2019. I went to every event, just like, yo, I'm at BYOB and Thrive and all these different places.
I was at BYOB too, bro.
Bro, I was at all of them.
Yeah.
It's funny that we never bumped into each other because there was so many people, right? Yeah. But I was literally going to these events and I was like, yo, if I want to have a successful event, let me go and check out and see what's in a successful event look like, because I never had one. Mm-hmm. Then once I saw the successful event, I took the pros, the cons, and then I went and took hardcore actionable steps towards what I wanted my event to look like. Okay, BYOB
at the MGM.
And then did it at the MGM.
Come on.
Like, yo.
Come on.
But I tell people all the time, bro, it's literally like you have to understand. Nobody's going to give you anything for one. If you want something, see it, go get it. Like, that's it. And put steps and processes in place to help you get there. Like I did not know anything about an event. Like I'm telling you, bro, I learned a lot after I did one, right? But prior to, I was like complete novice. I took bonehead mistakes. I lost money I should have made. Like there were things that happened, but what happened out of all of it is I took the action to get there. And so many people are so afraid of putting themselves in a position to be successful because they're afraid of the unknown.
Wow. And that's so crazy. People most people, Tony, are one step away from everything they want. One step away from their wholesale deal, one step away from their first $1,000 deal. They're just one step away, but people's inability or their fear, not knowing that fear is false. Like your fear is holding you hostage. And another thing I tell people here, what you got to understand is, listen, what your current living right now, this is not a rehearsal. You're not acting right now. The only time is real acting happening when you are looking at a TV. The life that you're currently living, when you're waking up, you don't get another shot at this thing. So for me, it ain't no way I could go do something that I hate every day. It ain't no way I'm going to wake up and eat something I don't want to eat. It's just, this ain't no rehearsal. So I'm not going to allow fear of failure, fear of anything to stop me from getting to where I got to go.
Hey, check this. So like I get people that hit me up all the time, like with this one thing. And I know for what I see out of you, this is something that you probably frequent as well. Okay. Tony, you seem to have all the things to say. You seem to know everything to do. Or Nehemiah, I'm sure they say the same thing to you. It seems like you have everything figured out. You got all these things figured, like in the perfect order. What would you tell the person that's sitting in fear right now because they feel like they don't know enough to be able to get started towards their goals, right? What are you saying to those people?
First thing I'm going to tell them to commit first, figure out the rest later. Second thing I'm going to tell them, listen to me. I understand that you may not want to do it for yourself. So I think it's important that you identify why you're doing what you do. Like, is it for your mom? Is it for your kids? Because it's easy to fail ourselves. But when you think about your bigger reason of why you're doing this, is it to get out your job? Is it because your mom is sick, your grandma? My reason is my mom hasn't worked. My wife is retired. I have bigger reasons to wake my butt up to make me go get it. So you need to identify, whoever's listening, what is that reason of why you really need to go make this thing happen? And then the second thing, get you a piece of paper and write this down. What's everything that can like pros and cons? If I decide to pursue my goals, my dreams, take a chance, what's everything that can happen? And then on the other side, I want you to write down what's everything that's going to happen if you decide to do nothing. So that should be enough right there, Tony, and make you say, "Oh, let me get up and make something happen with myself."
hey, look. So here's. I want to give some people some actionable things, right? When we talk about implementing, like you give out some real good game. Like, bro, you've been killing it. One thing I know is like, and you talk about it, like being able to retire your mom and your wife. The amount of success to travel all across the globe and do these things. Like if you had to say, okay, here's 3 tips from Nehemiah Davis to be successful in 2020.
Okay.
What 3 tips would you say will help somebody lead them to success in 2020?
Got you. So first, this is going to be tip 1, but it's a little deeper, but I'm going to do it quickly. First thing is this, you got to get a control of your finances. That's the root of everything. So if you start making more money and if your money mentality is the exact same way right now, the reason why most people go broke after they hit the lottery, because they never managed a large sum of money, so they don't know how. The reason why most NBA players and NFLs may go broke, because this is all they know, basketball. They don't know finances. So the first thing is, write this down. You got to get control of your finances. Write down how much money you make a month in total. Write down how much money you spend a month in total. Once you know those 2 numbers, subtract how much money you make, subtract how much money you spend from how much money you make. That's your net operating income that you have right there. Next, pull out your bank statement. Look at all the money you spent over the last 3 months. Identify what can be eliminated from your spending habits, because you don't know. You can't control what you don't actually know. So identify that. Your next step is this now. Now write this down. What are other ways I can generate income right now? Are you good at doing hair? Are you good at doing lashes? Are you good at being a nail tech? Can you do wholesale deals? Next step, write this down. What skill set can I learn? With the extra money that I'm going to start making Not making, but the money that I'm about to eliminate. If I got a $300 cable bill, I'm eliminating. If I got all this bull crap, if I'm buying Balenciaga shoes and belts, I'm eliminating all those things. And I'm going to take my elimination money and go invest into coaching. I'm going to go invest into learning a skill set, learn Facebook ads, learn YouTube ads, learn how to do lashes, learn how to wholesale deals. Figure out some sort of skill set, because you're not going to make more money working more hours, right, on your job, right? Next step that I'm going to do, look at your credit. I don't care what no one says. Your credit, you could do a wholesale deal without credit, absolutely. You could get an event space without credit. But your long-term game, your credit is important. So what I would say, at least go look at it. How much debt are you in? How much negative debt are you in, right? What is your credit score? Like us as a culture, we don't even look at our financial picture. You can't fix what you don't know. So you need to really get a solid grasp. So what does your financial picture look like? The amount of money you make, the amount of money you spend, the amount of money you make, the amount of money you spend, what your credit score is, how much debt you're in, all the money that you can make doing things, doing extra things on the side. And then once you start making that extra money on the side, now it's called diversifying. All the extra money I'm making on the side, how can I allow this to make me more money? This could be buying a property. If you got a job, go do an FHA, first-time home buyers. Go buy a 1 to 4 unit building. Name of the game for me, Tony, that I tell people, you want to make your personal living as close to free as possible. Second thing, go buy you a car. And I know him talked about it. Go on Swap Lease. Go get your car for $100, $150 a month. Go reach out to several influencers. Put their logo, put their images on the side. Charge all of them $100 a month. You might make you an extra $400. Post that same car on Toro. You must just find other ways to make money. And the third step that I would say for a year straight, Tony, similar to what you did, going to conferences specifically to learn how to put your conference on, focus on building your network. And again, some of these tasks don't sound like mystical or Neo, I need more. Those is how you build your brand. You need to be building your network. You need to be going to conferences. You need to be going to networking events. You need to be building out new friends. Your current friends got you to where you are right now. You got to get to the next level. So that means you got to hang around next level people. And a lot of these things are free. Turn on the podcast. You should be listening to the Closer podcast every single day. You should be listening to my podcast, Accelerate the Great, every single day. Why? Because we give our best content out here for free. Me and Tony doing this on the eye. And if you apply any of these jewels and gems, they will literally elevate your life. I spent 60 to 75 grand the last 2 years mentorship coaching that is resulting in me making more money than I've ever made. Why? Because I learned something that I didn't know. So a lot of you are where you are right now based on your level of competence. So get a grasp of your financial picture, develop a skill set.
My God, dropping so much fire right now, bro. Oh my God.
That's the 3 P's I'll give them. That's the 3 steps that I would, Tony, if I was flat broke, that's what I would do right now, bro. And in a year, I'll be living for free and I'll be making some money.
Hey, the dope thing that you hit on, and I talked about this on my live yesterday, and this shit just has to stop, right?
Yeah.
This shit has to stop. You hear so many people. What do you hear? Oh, this rapper went broke. MC Hammer. Oh, this athlete went broke. This whoever went broke. We're quick to point out and say, well, this person made X amount of dollars and they went broke. Well, you hit on a very good key. Whether you make $30,000 a year or $300 million a year, if your spending habits are fucked, if your financial literacy is fucked, if you make $2,000 a month and you spend $2,300 to $2,400, guess what? You're going to be broke. If you take that same $2,300 and you turn it into $100,000, you spend $140,000, your ass still broke. So if your mentality and your spending habits and how you align your money and your finances don't align, if you don't start having less liabilities than you have assets and income, then guess what? You're always going to be in a hole. And I hate when I hear people always like talk about the fact that, hey, look, these athletes went broke. So did you. Because guess what? You had a budget that was, you decided your job, you picked your job, you know what the income requirements are. And then guess what? You went and got a house that was too damn expensive. You went and got a car that was too expensive. You went and bought your kids everything that they didn't need because you want to give them everything that you never had in your life. And then your ass broke. And you trying to talk about the celebrity or the person that that made more money and is doing the same exact thing you did, but just on a higher frequency of money. We have to get a hold of our spending. So many people look at success and they think success is only, I need money. You got to be able to control and manage your money once you get it, or it doesn't matter. So many people fuck up with that part, bro. Like, it don't matter if you make 20,000 or 100,000. You got to be able to make sure you can manage your damn money. Like, like, bro, I did it for years. Before I went to jail, guess what I was doing? I would go somewhere, I make $100,000. Guess what? I knew I could go make another 100 real quick. So guess what I was doing? I was spending that 100 as quick as I fucking got it. I'm spending, every pair of Balenciagas, red bottoms, everything. I had it. BMW and everything. And the one thing I realized when I went to jail and I came out and my house was up for foreclosure and my cars, the damn tow truck guy was circling my neighborhood. What I realized very quickly is that I wish I had every fucking dollar back. I wish, bro, it was such a bad feeling where even with all the money and all the resources I had available to me, like I was now in a position where I didn't have it anymore. So guess what? When I now have recovered and I'm back in a better financial situation, bro, I drive a regular ass car. I have regular spends. My biggest spends this year, like as far as like Christmas, I spent more money on people than my family. But people have to understand that you have to realign how you spend your finances. You have to be responsible. You can't say, okay, I'm making $20,000 a month now, so guess what? I can spend $20,000. No, you can't bank on the fact that the 20 grand is coming next month or next week. Hey, it might not come, and then what you gonna do? You stuck. So many people be like, I know my $2,000 check is coming next week, so I go and spend this 2 G's because I know I'm gonna get paid in 2 other weeks. Like, stop it.
Hey, Tone, this is what has torn the culture, bro. Mismanagement and poor fight. And when we learn, Tone, you know how you learn after you wreck your credit. I learned about it when I went blew it. I learned about owing the IRS when I learned don't fool with them after I owed them 63 grand in penalties. You learn this crap after you make the mistake. Like we sit here telling, what kills me, Tony? And I want to ask you too. I want to actually ask you a question. First thing, the thing that kills me is you will tell somebody all the things you did wrong. Like you will step by step, and they will still go out and say, let me go try it on my own. I did all of this. So why do you get a mentor? So you don't have to go through it. It's called the fast track. But my question I got for you, bro, let me ask you this. This one conversation that you and me had right now on this live, if a 12th grader or a 12th grader get a hold of it, it could possibly change their world from messing it up. Why weren't we taught this in school, bro? Just this fight. Like, is there a reason why they hiding this from? Like, I physically can't understand why aren't we taught simple concepts: credit, saving, credit report, credit score, budgeting, how much money you make, how much money you earn. You can start a business. Why is this hitting, bro?
I think it's hidden for a purpose. Like I was talking to my son's mom a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, Trey's struggling in school a little bit, and like he's not getting the grades and da da da. And I told her, I had to pause for a second. I said, our son is like very, very smart, like very smart. I said the problem is that the way the school system tries to educate us, that shit is for the birds, because it doesn't teach you how to be financially responsible. It doesn't teach you how to position yourself. It doesn't teach you how to grow a business. The reality is that I think the educational system fails a lot of people. And we notice this is something like I'm not making this up. The education system, for one, like they put you in a position like coming out. If you're going into college, what do they give you? You can't get a $3,000 credit card coming out of high school, but you can get $100,000 and $200,000, $300,000 worth of student loans.
And you know what's so crazy about it, Tony? You know how you get that? You don't got to talk to a loan officer. You go on FAFSA, hit approve. You talking about you want $3,000 from the bank? They want the Social Security card. They want a business plan. They want your partners. How you going to do it? They interrogating you. They give you the 200 like this. You got it.
Bro, you go and fill out, like right now, you can go and fill out for a credit card. They're gonna tell you, hell no. You can go straight to Sally Mae or one of them, bro, and they gonna throw you some bands and then give you that high ass interest rate that you're gonna be paying for the next 30 years. And I tell people, like, you don't understand what's happening. The whole thing is like we've been like our whole life been taught to be consumers. Like everything, the music that they push to us, the shit that we like, everything is about consuming. When they show all the luxury cars, they show all this stuff. Like a lot of people get so caught in that mindset, that lifestyle. They think that's what success looks like, and going into the school system is where it all starts. They're teaching us about Christopher Columbus. They're teaching us about all this other, shit that you won't ever apply to life.
Trigonometry.
I'm talking about, bro, like 98% of the shit I learned in school, I've never implemented it. Like, it's never been something that has helped me make any money in business. Some of it, like very, very small pieces here and there, but most of it isn't. And I think what happens is that our parents and our parents have always been taught that, hey, look, this is what the educational system is supposed to look like. This is where you're supposed to get your info from and everything else. But the reality is that a lot of it fails us. A lot of it puts us in a position where we're consuming more than we actually are producing. We're literally not in a position to be educated about how we can protect our finances and put our families in better situations.
It's crazy, bro. It just hurt me to know it. Like it's a cycle that keeps continuing. I was on live the other day and I asked some folks, I'm like, yo, listen to me. Your mom and grandma, your dad, they got the best interest in your heart. But right now, would you trade financial situations with them? Everybody but one person out of 100 said no. Like, no, of course not. So why?
Hold on 1 second.
Kids,
Dropping some flames with my guy NeoDavis right now, man. This is a 5 a.m. podcast that we jumped on. We were on a call at like 4 or something. He's like, bro, you up? I said, I'm always up, man. Let's knock this thing out. And I think one of the things that I wanted to really share is ways that we can get 2020 started the right way. Nehemiah just gave us 3 fire tips of things that he would be doing to like really get things going. So, what y'all think? Is this some fire right now? Huh?
Yeah, it's straight.
I see flames up here on the live.
Yeah, live, drop them flames. This thing, Tony, this is the type of stuff that could change your world if you listen. And here's the other thing, Tony, you know what I do now, bro? And I know you do the same thing. When I'm listening to conversations, I'm listening real deep. Like I'm listening. Every conversation I have, I'm asking myself, what did I just learn from the one conversation? You and me, our first conversation was just really about building and getting to know each other. But I took what you told me to do and I went and applied it. Right? You were about to do something that I mentioned. You were about to go apply it. Mm-hmm. So it's like you went to every conference. Okay, let me take this from that conference. Let me take this. Now let me lead that. I think in 2020, we have to change our lenses that we got on. I think people should start looking out of an opportunity lens and start looking at out of how can I learn from the conversation? How can I learn about the situation? Even your setbacks, what can I take from them? So I take a lot from my failures and my setbacks as well and know, oh crap, let me not repeat that. I look at my uncle. I saw that he was on drugs. I saw that things didn't go right in his life. Why would I go do drugs? Like, it's just like certain things that I see I'm not going to repeat.
Hey, yo, let me tell everybody something that's very, very, very important. Some of y'all need to learn from your damn self. Like if you sitting here right now on December the 27th and you looking at your bank account, your life, your house, your apartment, whatever it might be, and you like, this isn't where I want to be at. What decisions have you made this year that you need to be correcting in 2020? I think one thing is like having true accountability. I think that was what helped me change my life was accountability. I had to start being responsible for every decision I made, bro. Every decision I made, I had to be responsible for. Some people have to really say, hey, yo, am I living a life that's according to what I want my life to look like? If I'm not, where do I need to start making improvements to be able to get there? And you got to have like real hard accountability with yourself. Like you got to take that hard look in the mirror. I can literally look myself in the mirror and know what I need to do. And then I start taking steps towards it. Like, that's it. Like, okay, daily steps. And it doesn't have to be that you have to change everything all at once. I think one thing that people, they think like, okay, everything has to be fixed all at once, man. You'd be surprised at what 6 months from now looks like if you just take small steps every day. I can't believe this year's gone by. Bro, I'm looking up like it's about to be 2020. The whole year's gone.
It's done. And if you went through this year and feel like you wasted, you got to change. And it's one of the things I tell people to do, bro. I say, yo, make a date with yourself and don't be late. Set 1 hour a day with just you, working on your goals, working on your dreams, working on your aspirations. Tell your mom, your dad, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, listen, for this 1 hour, I'm not available. And locking on you. If you do that for a year straight, that's 365 hours into your personal development, into your finances. And you tell me, how much can you get done with a dedicated 365 hours? And that's not asking for a lot. You can give yourself an hour a day.
And I think it just goes to what we talk about though. Like, are you going to implement or are you going to talk about it? Like if y'all go through another decade, because this is a full decade, right? We're ending the decade. This is you can't get this one back. We're going into 2020. Everybody's excited about a new year, new opportunity. They're going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm lying. I'm
gonna leave that one on you. I ain't going to the gym.
And look, I need to be in the gym, but like we know certain things that like we want to be more consistent with and things like that. You got to be intentional. You have to be intentional, y'all. Like, my whole life, man. I'm telling y'all, 2017 life flipped upside down. 2018 was like kind of like trying to figure out what I was going to do. 2019 it was like, I'm back. 2020 is time to turn up. How do you put yourself in that position? You got to start taking small micro steps. I didn't wake up and go from 4,000 or 5,000 Instagram followers to 48,000 or 47,000. It was like you wake up, you start providing value, you start doing steps that are intentional. You start, doing things that get you closer to where you want to go. Like I knew I wanted to build a brand. I knew I wanted to have like an audience, and I was like, okay. I'm not going to buy my followers. So what's the next step? Like, okay, you got to go out here and put some content out here. You got to be consistent. I went live every motherfucking day, 4, 5, 6 hours every day. People are like, bro, you're insane. Like, they're like, yo, you're insane. You're going on live all the time. Like Chris Bruce, you were talking about Chris Bruce. I did his mastermind that he did in February. And I was one of his speakers, and at his mastermind, every single person knew me for one reason. Bro, you're always on live. Like, you're on live all the time, bro. Like, how do you do that? And I said, listen, what I tell you. I said, watch what I'm doing now and talk to me in 9 months. Mm-hmm. Literally, what I told him, I said, watch me in 9 months. Chris, and this is no disrespect to Chris or any of those guys, but my brand and everything grew beyond what they have been able to do just because I did shit that made most people uncomfortable. Most people don't want to go live. Most people don't want to make themselves vulnerable. Most people don't want to be out there that frequently. I just said, hey, I'm willing to do the shit that most people will look at and go, oh, whoa, that's a little bit of a lot, right? And that's what people have to do. You got to start doing shit and be like, damn, bro, you really grinding. That's a lot. That might, I don't even know if I can do that. I'm not even sure I'm willing to do this shit that most people aren't willing to do to get the shit that they want, right? You got to be willing to do that.
Facts. And that's just a testament of just that dog in you, bro. You say, yo, I'm going to go get it. And you did that. It's hard to grow 47,000 followers in a year, bro. They know you. That's savage. Like, you went in, built a brand, bro. Had a full. You know how hard it is for somebody to get a conference with 1,500 people there, bro. That's a lot of work, bro. And then the nerve to give away 100 bands too, huh? Who does that on their first go round? That's some next level. The next level people ain't doing that, bro.
The next level people probably think I'm crazy too, but the one thing I was very, very conscious of is like my strategy and my marketing and everything to make sure that like my message was going to be heard loud and clear. And I think that's one of the most important parts of what people have to understand is sometimes you got to do shit people are not willing to do. You got to position yourself and do things that might make you even uncomfortable. Like, and if you do those things, man, like, yo, it changes your life. It changes the world for you, man. But it's literally based off, like, okay, position and put yourself in a position to always win. Stop making excuses. Stop looking for people to bail you out. Stop looking for people to coddle you. Don't think nobody's going to bail you out. Man, this is your life, your responsibility. You only you. And when I took that, bro, like, I don't care what goes wrong in my life. I don't care what happens. I don't. Bro, I'm going to get up every single day. I'm going to wipe myself off and I'm going to make shit happen. Like, I don't make excuses. I don't care. Like, yo, whether it was somebody backing out of an event, somebody trying to sabotage something or whatever, is my fault, is my responsibility. I shouldn't, I should have done this better. I should have did that better. And I always take accountability. Like, what could I have done better? Excuse making.
Now, how long have you been taking accountability? Because I realize that holds a lot of us back. Or why is accountability important more than anything? Because
I think that accountability came from the moment that I realized that when I was in jail, if I didn't change, like how I was finger pointing, and like my dad abused me as a kid, and that shit impacted me like so heavy. Sometimes we don't realize how that stuff impacts you. And I was walking around with something on my shoulders that for years I never addressed. I never, I always wanted to try to say, well, my dad, did this, and this person put me in this position. She cheated. Like, I always had an excuse for everybody else of why my actions were what they were. Part of going through an abuser treatment program was taking accountability. And I had to come in every morning. I had to say, well, every time I had my training, I had to say, hey, my name is Tony and I'm an abuser. Mm-hmm. And it was hard to say that shit for a minute. Like, bro, like when you have to open up and say something that like really like puts you in a position to have to be like that, I'm like, yo, I had to say, hey, my name is Tony and I'm an abuser every fucking time I walked in there. And then what it made me do was like, it really started making me look at like, what was I doing and who was I putting myself around, everything else. I really started being super critical of myself and every fucking thing in my life. And I'm going to tell people like counseling was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, so many people in our community go through so much stuff with like mental health that's just like completely ignored. And we just try to say, well, that's how mama or daddy raised us and it was okay and that was normal. Like, some of us need to really go sit down and talk to people because that's a critical part of like how we stimulate ourselves to move forward. If I never went to counseling, I wouldn't be here today. Like, 100% know that.
Wow.
But what I did, man, is I say, yo, okay, I took the L. Now I got to look at this every day, and I'm not going to run from the fact of where I was at in my past. Like, I'm going to let this be what everybody sees when they meet me. Like, there's no need to hide from who I am, what I've been through, or anything else. It was like, yo, this shit helped me get to where I am today. And when I tell people, no matter what you've gone through, no matter who you are, or whatever, like, your shit got to be that you own who the fuck you are, first and foremost. And everybody's got their shit, man. Like, people will try to shame you or talk about you or whatever. Like, yo, man, I grew up in situations that some people would never imagine. Like, can you imagine waking up in the morning and having a fear of like your own father? Like a legit fear? You ever had like thoughts of like, yo, what's like, I wanted to kill my dad, bro.
Crazy.
Like the type of abuse that I grew up around, like I had literal thoughts of like hurting the person that I looked up to as a kid. Wow. Like, I remember telling my mom, like, how did you let me move with a person that could hurt me this way and could do things like this to me? Like, this was like literal shit that I was like facing. Like, I'm like mad at my mom. I'm mad at everybody. Like, how could you hurt your kid? Like, man, I got 2 boys, man. I can't even imagine some of the stuff that happened to me, like ever putting my children through that. But what you got to understand is that mental health, counseling, and things like my dad needed it. And my dad's not a bad person. You know what I'm saying? But he went through the military and all this shit. They send these guys right back from the military and all that shit they've been through, and then they just throw you back into your family. So now I got this dude that's been serving tours and everything else coming back home and
mentally messed up.
And he's not mentally where he needs to be, and he's now trying to lead me like he was leading troops. You know what I'm saying? I got a warrant officer handling me as if I'm one of his soldiers. So I tell people all the time, I grew up different. I grew up experiencing shit that most people never had to experience. It gave me a lot of discipline, but it also gave me a nasty streak that a lot of people didn't know how to, like, it was great for football, but that shit didn't work off the field. Like, it was like that nasty streak I had. Oh, when it came to football, you didn't want to touch me. I was an All-American and everything else. But in my personal life, when I was hurt because of whatever, I would blow up. And it was like, now you're trying to control that same rage that made me so successful in sports. But it like my hurt and my pain and all the vulnerability I had in my life was now getting pushed to people every time I got hurt. And I realized when I was sitting in jail back in January 2017, I sit 63 days. One night I was sitting up. It was like maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had like this vision, bro, and it was crazy. It was like my ex-girlfriend who I had actually got in trouble with. She was in my house, and she was breaking in my house and taking all my stuff. And I can't make this up because like this is like really like the weird shit. Like I dreamed of like this U-Haul coming and like all my belongings getting gone. And guess what? It really happened. Like this young lady came in my house while I was in jail. Everything I ever worked for, TVs, everything. I mean, I come home, my house is literally like gone.
Wow.
Xboxes, everything. I'm talking about everything that I had was gone. But during this dream that I had, it was something that was very impactful that happened to me. Like I'm not a prophet or anything like that, but I literally saw what's happening in my life right now. I called my mom that next morning, and I told her it was the first time I seen God. And in jail, it was the first time I started talking to the youth and the other black men that I was like, yo, man, there's a vehicle called real estate. I mean, wholesaling and real estate that you can get involved in, and you can get paid, by literally the same house you trapping out of or breaking into or whatever. You can go and get paid $5,000-$10,000 assignment fees and don't even have to have any money or credit. And it's so crazy how that one night has literally like changed the whole dynamic of my whole entire life. And then transitioning that until when I came out to holding myself accountable and not running from anything that I've been through, because everything that I had been through was like literally what made me who I am today. So many people walk in fear of how somebody might perceive them because their life isn't how somebody else might perceive or how your action should be. Am I proud of like what I did in the past? Absolutely not. But I'm proud that I went through it and I made it through it because every single thing that I went through has put me in a position to be a better man, a better father. Man, I love better on my kids than I ever could have loved in the past. Like these things all come from the hurt, the heartbreak, and then the actual, rehabilitation, the going to counseling. Some of us really need to understand like taking counseling serious. Man, I took counseling as serious as anything else. It was like a relationship to me. I went, if I didn't fix myself, if I didn't have somebody that could help, that I could talk to and get this stuff off me, I was going to continue to be repeating the cycle over and over again, man. And I knew I had let my kids down. And that was one of the biggest things for me is because I didn't want my kids to remember me how I was perceiving and viewing my dad for years. When I had this negative connotation of my dad, and the negative image of him just based off all the experiences, the negative stuff that happened in my life. And I knew that I wanted to be an example of like, for one, show my children something different. My youngest son actually watched me get arrested. And that was like a big thing in my head is like him having to witness his father go down like that. And it was like a big imprint in my mind. So I keep him extremely involved. I bring him on my lives and, I want him to see like the different level of success now because like he saw the ugly side, but it's very important for me to also show him what it's like to be able to overcome the adversity because I know in his life and even in my older son's life, that adversity is going to come at some point. Like I know there's going to be a mistake or there's going to be something that's going to be a challenge that he's going to have to face and he's going to face it head on like a man. And what I want to instill in my children and anybody that's going to hear this on our audience is from one, accountability. Got to stop fucking ducking and running from like where you've been at, what you've been through. Like, yeah, it might make some people uncomfortable. Like, it's okay. You got to own who you are, what you've been through in order to make sure that you can continue to grow in your life. I want to make sure that like for me as a father and as a leader that I share open and honest kind of conversations and things that can literally help people overcome and grow their current lifestyle because so many people get on social media and they paint this clean, everything was an excellent, beautiful life story. My shit was a fucking mess. Everything that I could do wrong, I probably did. I did things I'm not proud of, but through it all, I never quit on myself. I never quit. When adversity hit me, when things went south and there was a challenge, I never quit. Two things that I'm challenging people for in 2020. Well, three things I'm gonna challenge people for in 2020. One is accountability, self-accountability. You gotta own it. Own everything, whatever it is, own it. The next thing I'm gonna tell you, like in 2020, is that what we gotta do in 2020. We talked about it. What you did, Nehemiah, is what implementation.
Key.
We once we hold ourselves accountable, we gotta start implementing. We gotta implement like with conviction. And what conviction is, I think a lot of people don't understand conviction. Like this means like, yo, nothing else matters. Like nothing else matters. Like the success that I'm looking for, the things I want in my life, nothing else matters until I do and set off these tasks. Like what you talk about, even if it's dedicating an hour a day for, you know, for your life and for your progression, take that hour every single day. We're going to implement this hour. You know, let's get 365 days of that. Maybe it's 30 minutes. You don't start off at a full hour.
It might be 10 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
Just start.
Like you got to implement somewhere. Like, you know, I think everybody thinks about the finished product and how you get to the finished product is like, hey, you got to take steps along the way and get to where you want to go. The third thing I'm going to tell everybody in 2020 is no fucking excuse. There's no excuse. There's so much information readily available. Like it doesn't matter your financial situation. There's so many ways to make money, whether it's driver, Uber, Lyft, Turo, your car, whatever it might be. There are so many ways to go out here and make money. Maybe you got to start. Like I asked people on my live yesterday, hey, what do you spend a weekend eating? Somebody said fucking $500. I said, girl, I know who you wouldn't be dating. I was like, shit me, $500 a week to eat out. But like, look, guess what? That's a hell of a marketing budget. That's a hell of a budget to start a website, an app, an LLC, and everything else. We got to start making sure we put stuff in the position to like really be holding ourselves accountable to implement that stuff and then busting our ass towards those goals, man, every single day.
That's it, bro. And that's really what it boils down to. But the key component is you must work. Like that's it. Like that's the magic pill. If everybody really want to know the secret, you got to be willing to do it over and over again, right? And as you start doing it over and over again, you start getting the results. And once you start getting the results, it make you want to get more results. So you got to become obsessed. Like you got to almost become a freak of nature for your goals, right? And your grind has to be annoying. Everybody should know who you are, what you do, and what you about. You should be talking about it daily, right? Your goals should consume your thought process, right? The average human being, I think, got 60,000 thoughts a day, right? You have to be combating all the negative thoughts. You got to be combating all the things that are going to go through your mind, because what we got to understand, guys, is this generally. Normally, the enemy is the inner me. You got to get out of your own way and just go out here and get it. If not, you're going to fall back into that process of maybe I can't make it happen. You'll start doubting yourself. And the final thing I would say to you guys is just commit first, figure out the rest later. Don't overcomplicate it. So many entrepreneurs out here who got goals, got ideas, but they think they need the LLC. They think they need the trademark. They think they need the perfect credit score. They think they need all of these things. And you end up not starting because all of those things just make things a little bit more complicated when you feel as though you need all of them. So just start, y'all.
Yeah, and somebody just asked me a question on my live. I like these questions, so I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna answer it as well. If you went broke today, if Nehemiah Davis lost it all, I think this would be a good way to wrap it up after we get this one. If you lost it all, bro, all right. So Nehemiah, you're broke. It's December the 27th. 2020 is around the corner. What are you doing to be able to change that going into the new year?
If I wasn't broke right now, what I probably would do is I would just go reach out to all the entrepreneurs who got like Tony the Closer, just different people who sell a product, and I'll ask, can I sell it for them over the phone? That's what I would do and say, let me get 10 to 20% of everything that I sell. I don't need to have no brand. I don't need to have no influence. Let me just sell what you got, because most people don't have a dedicated salesperson. So I would ask, could I be that person? And I will also tell them, listen, I'll do it for free at first because I'm willing to go get people results. So that's one thing that I would do, because I know I can sell. If you tell me about the product, about the service, I can go sell it. So that's one thing that I would do right now if I went broke tomorrow. And what's another thing that I would do if I went? That's the first thing I would do. I think that's the quickest way to do it, because no one's going to deny that. Like, hey, Tony, I want to do your phone sales for you for free, bro. I know you got these different programs that's changing lives. I'll do it for free. Nobody gonna tell me no. And then if I get you results, hey, let's talk about a compensation plan. So that's what I would do if I went broke tomorrow. There's so many other ways, but that's considered a high income skill, right? Because you learn in sales, and if you're able to sell, you can make money. What would you do, bro?
So I like what you gave. So any of y'all holler at me. I need some salespeople anyway. So you know what I'm saying? Hit me up. I need to get a whole sales team built out. But if I went broke today, I would do exactly what I did 2 years ago when I was broke. I would, for one, hold myself accountable for my actions and even causing myself to be broke, because some of us are broke because of our own actions, right? Like, we got to be real with ourselves. Like, most of us probably put ourselves in a situation where we're broke. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, what am I truly tired of being broke? Because some people like fucking being broke. Right?
Some people don't hurt them enough,
bro. It's cool. Like, when I was in jail, some niggas came in jail. They was happy to be here. They seen their homies. They're like, yo, what's up? Some people really like some people like that. But if you're ready to change your life, this is what I would do. For one, I put out a free game plan, a blueprint. Literally, I gave out a blueprint of what I did from $0 to making 6 figures in wholesaling. Like, I gave out the game. I literally put out a whole blueprint. What I did step by step every single day. Because first thing I had to do is I had to wake up every day and forgive myself. Every day I woke up and I said, hey, Tony, you're better and you deserve better. Forgive yourself for your actions, man. Nobody can shame you for where you've been at and what you've been through. I had to start with myself. I literally woke up with myself, talking to myself. Then I started looking at positive influences, things that actually gave me like inspiration to get up and go do something. You know, like, I had to be motivated in order to make sure like I can go out and do what I need to do, complete my task. The next thing I did, man, like, for one, I'm a wholesaler, right? So I first and foremost, I went out and I started driving for dollars, and I started the process of like looking for properties to put under contract. Everybody, if you I ain't gonna tell you to send me a DM because shit's out of control. But if you go to TonyTheCloser.com, you will be able to find my blueprint. But in that blueprint, what I literally did is I gave out step-by-step strategies, like what I did to go from like $0 to making $100,000 in real estate. And I did it in less than 90 days. Some of y'all not going to be able to do it in 90 days because when I tell you I get, like, this isn't a get rich quick scheme. I'm just a hustler. Like, and I grind like most people aren't comfortable. So I don't expect you to do what I did because I'm not typical. Like, I'm not going to go in and do anything half-assed. Like, I get obsessed. But what I'll tell you is those steps work for me to make 100,000 this year alone. I can probably tell you over 1,000 plus people have made, you know, big money with me. $250,000 plus. I got guys that followed that exact blueprint, made $250,000 plus. But if you have nothing, this is the best thing. This is the best time in ever in history. If you have nothing, to be able to make something, because social media can be your friend. And you would, what I would suggest to somebody, if you have any sort of a talent, I would make that talent available to people, like Nehemiah said, to somebody that already has a functional business that you can potentially help their business where they're lacking. Like, that's like, so reaching out to influencers, like if you're a videographer, or whatever, like, I'm always looking for video guys. I'm always looking for content creators. Like, I'm looking for people that can help me in my brand. So if you start there, like, hey, reach out to everybody that you see, that you follow or whatever. Be like, hey, yo, here's what I can do. Here's a service I can offer. And maybe that's a start to get your foot in the door.
Great start.
Great start, because you got somebody that's already got a functional business that typically has a need. Like, for me personally, I'm not an IT guy. So I would love to have somebody that I can call and be like, hey, look, my funnels, my emails, all that stuff. Like, hey, if you can handle that for me. And that's what I did. I went and found me somebody that I paid to be able to do the things that I have as a weakness. But in changing your life and overcoming whatever type of financial situation that you're in, like going from broke to changing and turning your life up in 2020, the last thing I'll tell you guys is every single day when you wake up and you close your eyes, you have to be willing to say that I did everything I wanted to make sure my future, I can have my steps, my life that I did today is going to get me closer to my future that I want. Like, so many people got to understand the importance of just saying, hey, did I take every step towards what I want my future to look like? And if you haven't, then you got to make sure that every day that you go open your eyes and you close your eyes, that you can check that off your list. And when you wake up 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year later, your whole situation will be different.
Facts. That's fire for y'all. Yo, we just gave y'all a lot of heat. I think this might have been over an hour, y'all.
This has been over an hour, man. Hey, man, everybody do me a favor first and foremost. Go to IG, follow my guy, Nehemiah Davis. It's NeoDavis O. NeoDaviso. I want you guys to go tap in with my man Nehemiah. Great inspiration in our community. Absolute entrepreneur, beast. And then the best part about it is his heart is made of gold. He joined with me on the 12 Days of Christmas with Tony the Closer Clause, and I know a lot of y'all found me recently based off the giveaway. Don't get accustomed to the giveaway portion like that. I want you to get accustomed to the message, okay? But we really wanted to really bless families in the holiday season, and it was so amazing that, you know, when I was reaching out to people that are in my circle that they wanted to take part in blessing families and even help me, because I couldn't do it on my own. I don't have enough money yet. I'm still trying to get my money up, so I can't give y'all all mine. But these guys, like, definitely Neo came in and just like, yo, that was such a boost for me to be able to see you help me, for one, like, because, you know, in this community, sometimes it feels a little lonely when you see a lot of people that like make it all about themselves, and to see people that like truly are good hearted and willing to share and give their hard earned money to the community, man.
I had to be a part of it, bro. You know,
I appreciate the hell out of that. That meant everything. So anything in the future I can provide as far as value to you, like, I'm here for you. The Closer gang, we're gonna ride with you, bro.
We rocking. So we tapped in, bro. So this is the start of a forever relationship. And I always tell people, man, those are the relationships you should be looking for forever. It ain't no Tony did for me, I'm doing for him. This is just, yo, what you need, bro, I got you, right? And that's the type of relationships everybody you should be focusing on tapping in with. So, bro, again, I'm so grateful to be a part of the Closer crew. I can't wait for the conference, bro. I know that's going to change so many lives and just everything you got going on, bro. Thanks for allowing me.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that real quick when we jump off. April 3rd and 4th, Washington, D.C., I'm having an event at the MGM National Harbor, and I'm going to have to bring my guy out there, man. We got to bring the people some of this smoke. So if you guys haven't already got your tickets, you can look it up on Eventbrite. It's called It's Our Turn Tour 2020. First stop will be in Washington, D.C. I'll have a crazy lineup and a lot of information to share how to get started in wholesale and real estate. This is going to be a great entrepreneur event. So if you want to learn about real estate, you want to learn about fixing your credit, you want to learn about like the game, you want to learn how to really reorganize yourself in 2020. April the 3rd, I will be doing a live event at the National Harbor in DC. And that's going to be a great, great, great opportunity for you to get in a room with a lot of like-minded people. It'll be about 1,300 plus people there. Sold out. So if you haven't got your tickets, I advise you to do so. The last event was epic. I mean, like, literally epic. I want to give you a shout out once again, bro. I want to say thank you so much for one, waking up early in the morning and rocking out with me on this podcast. I really want to tell y'all, man, if you haven't tapped in with Nehemiah, what he's been doing in the community, man, this dude is traveling all over the place. He's in Bali. It's an inspiration. He's giving people like something that you can look forward to. And I just want to say thank you again, bro. If y'all haven't tapped into the Closer Club Podcast, it's on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. Make sure you go tap in, give it a 5-star review. If you like these type of podcasts and you want to hear more, it helps me to share. If you share these with other people, it's going to help us only grow. The podcast is called The Closer Club. This episode will be available in the next couple of days. You guys on IG Live got a live sneak peek at it. But nothing but flames. Thank y'all for joining. Hey, Nehemiah, bro. Once again, thank you so much.
You already know, bro. I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you later on.
All right. Peace, brother.
Let's get it.